How do you complete an Employment Tribunal ET1 form in relation to your holiday pay claim? Well, let's get it going. Hi and welcome to this episode of the forum. My name is Scott Haslam and I'm your president of the Leeds No1 Amalgamated branch of the Communication Workers Union. Our videos include interviews, news and tutorials, a little like this one, so if this is your first time watching or haven't already, please consider subscribing and hit the bell symbol to be notified when we upload future videos. Okay, so some of you may have received a letter very much like this, and it's in relation to your holiday pay claim. So the reason that I'm doing this video now is because a number of questions, queries in relation to how you complete an employment tribunal once you received this letter. So first thing to do is let's open it. First thing you'll notice is that you'll have a accompanying letter that will outline the reason why you're now at the stage of registering a tribunal. And it's purely and simply to enable you to keep your claim live and active so it's not timed out. Equally, the broader picture is that the union nationally are taking on these cases for a hearing in January, February time in 2020. So it's imperative that you register this tribunal and that you register this tribunal with the accurate information specific to your case and against the respondent, which is Royal Mail Group plc. For ease, I'll put on the screen now the short bit link that you need to use to get direct to the online employment tribunal. In addition to the covering letter that you'll receive in this pack, you will also receive your ACAS Early Conciliation Certificate. On that certificate will be a certificate number that you will need for that employment tribunal. The certificate number will be essentially your ACAS reference number plus an additional 2 numbers. The last part of the pack that we'll send you is an example employment tribunal form. The details contained within this form will more or less reflect what's on the online form. However, there are some slight differences. So let's jump onto the computer and go to the bit.ly link that I've got on the screen. So the first thing to do then is to write in the short bit link. That will go directly to the government.uk website for employment tribunals. Scroll down and click Start a Claim. It will give you a claim number. This will be your claim reference number until your claim has been accepted by the tribunal office. Now you need to complete your email address, which is optional, but we advise you doing it, and your memory word should you need to go back to complete this form at a later point. Claimant's details is yourself, so complete as much of this detailing as possible that relates to you. Write the month in numbers, select your gender, select whether you're disabled, and claimant's contact details is of course your own address. Contact number is always advisable, and I would always put your own number down. Confirm your email address here. Best way to send correspondence to you, I would advise email because it will come through instantly. Are other people making a claim with you against the same employer? And the answer is yes, it is, but you're completing this form individually, and then the union will be taking those individual cases on collectively. So do make sure you select no here, otherwise you'll end up being asked for the other claimant's details, which we don't have. Do you have anybody to represent you? Well, of course you do. That would be somebody in the branch. So if you're not from the Leeds No1 branch, it would probably be your branch secretary. In our case, that is Andy Lee. So we would need to select yes. Details for the representative, you would select trade union and you would put CWU, and the representative name is Andy Lee. And the representative's contact details is the branch office in our case, but again, if you're not from the Leeds No1 branch, then I advise you to contact your branch secretary, who will then give you those details. terms of phone number, that details would be 07958760045. The alternative phone number would be the branch office number, 0113 234 1312. The email address would be bransecleads@btconnect.com. There is no document exchange number. So we then save and continue. The next bit is the respondent's details. Now it's very important that these details are accurate, because all details need to be as accurate as possible when you're going to a court. Within the example document that we supplied you with, the front page does list Romel's address and details. So do copy those details across. So the name of the respondent would be Royal Mail Group PLC. The building would be 100 and the street Victoria, London. And the postcode is EC4Y0HQ. There is no phone number to list here. Now in terms of do you work at this address, then that is clearly inaccurate. That is just their headquarters and that's where all the claims would go. In terms of where you actually work, you would then list your workplace. Again, there's no need to actually register a telephone number. The ACAS Early Conciliation Certificate is the second document that I showed you at the start of this video. And on that is your ACAS reference number, followed by an additional number. It's quite important to ensure that you do have that certificate number and that the certificate number is still live, because without that, that would be some form of grounds that the claimant, yourself, haven't followed due process. That process is explained in the YouTube card link at the top of the screen, which is how to complete a holiday claim, where you would need to start at the grievance, register with ACAS, and then go to this stage, the final stage, before going to court. Are you making a claim against another person or organisation? The answer to that would be no, purely and simply against Royal Mail Group PLC. Have you ever been employed by the organisation that you're making a claim against? Well, again, the answer would be yes, so do select that. That gives you some more options. Some of these options might not be in that paper example. What is the current work situation in relation to the employer you're making a claim against? On that basis, we're still working for the employer. Obviously, if that's different, then select a different option. The job title, whether you're an OPG, whether you're a professional driver, whether you're any other grade within Royal Mail. So that's what you'd put here. Again, you'd write down your start date, average hours worked per week, and it's optional, so there's no need to actually complete this element. Because it's optional, I would leave this blank. Pay, pension, benefits, pay before tax, again, this is optional. Pay after tax, this is optional. Are or were you a member of the employer's pension scheme? Well, yes, you was, but again, that is optional. Do or did you have any benefits like a company car? Again, these are optional. So my advice would be leave them, because if they do need those details, we'll later ask for them once the CWU collects your information for that hearing next year. Save and continue. So the next one is about the actual claim. Is it an unfair dismissal? No. Protective award? No. Is it discrimination? No. Is it pay? Yes. And the pay is holiday pay as its own option, so do select that one. Whistleblowing claim is a no. Save and then continue. Describe your claim. Essentially, it's a holiday pay claim. It's based on case law that has set a precedent where employers are duty bound really to pay an average holiday pay for the first 20 statutory holidays under European law to an individual. And that average should reflect the 12 weeks preceding you going on that holiday leave period. So in this section, we need to describe your claim. So what I'd recommend writing is a statement along the lines of that you've not received an average of your working period prior to taking your first statutory 20 days annual leave. I'd also state that you have attempted to address via the internal grievance procedure. Royal Mail have blocked any potential grievances on this issue. So quite frankly, all you needed to do is ring HR and they will confirm that with you. You should, I think, state that you've attempted to address the issue via the ACAS early conciliation, and by the nature of you having that certificate, verifies that point. Again, what I would also recommend at this point is listing all your dates that you have taken since April. If you want to put those before April, then so be it, but first 20 days more often than not will have expired or been taken by October, November in 2018. Those dates are now down. My dates still don't accrue to the first 20 statutory days. There is no break of more than 3 months between the annual leave dates, with the exception of the last one, but because I registered my claim with ACAS within 3 months of July the 7th, my claim will be still live. Similar claims: do you know of any other claimants not already listed making similar claims against employer? Again, this is optional, so you can just leave that as no. Choose your preferred outcome. What do you want if your claimant is successful? Well, the obvious one would be compensation, because you are compensating financially for what is legally due to you. A recommendation from a tribunal that the employer takes action so the problem at work doesn't happen again. Again, I would recommend taking that one, because we at the CWU do want an agreement on this so that everyone is protected going forward and we don't have to go through these application forms annually. The other 2 points really are not applicable in this case. What compensation or other outcomes do you want? This is optional, so again what we can do is leave that blank for this element. Other important details. Do you want to provide additional information about your claim? This is again optional, so again you can leave that as no. Now gives a full summary of what you've just registered, and quickly scan that across and ensure that all okay, looks fine to me, and it will confirm to the email address that you registered at the start of the process and your representative's email address that you registered in those details. The next thing is now to submit your claim. This is the claim number, which was the number at the start of the process, and that is it. If you found this video useful, give it a like, leave me a comment below and subscribe if you haven't already, and please share us with your friends on social media. Remember, unity is strength. Thanks for watching.